Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you. I got one here. It says, I don't want to be awkward, but I don't want to lie. How do you respond to what have you been up to? How are you? What do you do for work? How have you been? Type of questions. I ran into old acquaintances this evening and I haven't seen since before the times. I don't want to just flat out say I have daily seizures for the past 5 years, so I'm unemployed and I live off of my mom. I always trip on these type of questions. What does everyone here say? They're most likely innocent questions, especially since I hid my seizures from almost everyone in my life for the most of the time. I usually say, just trying to make it, and that still makes it seem awkward. Usually, only for older people. Millennials understand that statement at least. Thoughts? If you ask someone how they're doing, I don't respond like that. I'm doing good, and yourself? Sometimes I might, depending on who it is that I want to have a conversation with. But if you ask how someone's doing, they might go off into how their life's been week.
At least 80% of the time when somebody asks how you're doing, they're not really asking how you're doing. They're just following a social script, starting
like saying good morning to your friends.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Just starting a whole thing, so they don't necessarily need to be informed on all of the specific details of your disability that you may find embarrassing. And I mean, another thing is they're about it, looking at it from within their own theory of mind. So they're thinking about these things and assuming that all of the people that they are talking to know or whatever hold the same sort of value systems to make judgments about whatever. It sounds like they've got some insecurities about themselves about being unemployed that these other people that they talk to might not necessarily find so uh, I don't know. So
I have a question for you guys. I was gonna say, what do you guys say when someone says, "What have you been up to? How are you? And what do you do for work?"
I mean,
good. Not much, between jobs. How about you?
Okay, that's a good one.
that works.
How do you
That's
respond?
simple. You have no obligation to impress this person or anything. Yeah, a simple answer is fine.
What do you say?
Something like Mark said. I don't remember what I said. I forgot already.
Fine. How are
I'm
you?
fine. I'm in between jobs,
For
whatever. I'm never going to see
yeah,
this person for
I'll
another 20
remember.
years.
Pookie will know when he goes and watches
They
the replay.
they also when someone asks, "What have you been up to?" and "How are you?" Those are two different questions. Yeah, Mark, what have you been up to and how are you? Separate questions.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said in the middle there.
What have you been up to and how are you? They're separate questions. You put it all into one.
Well, I mean, all into one answer because it was kind of all lumped into one greeting. But yeah, fine. Currently between jobs. How are you? Or how about you? Immediately turn it back on them and then get them to be the one talking. You know, you don't need to feel defensive if you can deflect. And a lot
Hmm.
of times, people really enjoy talking about themselves, especially the businessy type people that it sounded like they were talking about. So, just get the other person to talk about themselves and they'll feel like, they had a wonderful conversation, even if you don't tell them anything about you or being epileptic, you know?
I
So
have a
just be as vague as possible. Why not just say, "Great, how are you?" Is that what you mean?
Um,
Yeah. Keep it vague and let them fill in the details in their imagination. Be mysterious.
for me, I could say I forgot what question we were on, but there was one.
Yeah,
Um,
were we? I still had that question before I went out. So I've got that in what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 others that I've picked out. So um I don't know, you want me to go on to one here or were we freeform jazz podcasting, rambling and
um,
riffing?
at
Ramble
this
about
point,
anything. Yeah.
so I got another question.
Yeah.
It says,
Oh,
my memory degraded significantly. Has your memory been affected? I'm a 29-year-old female. I've forgotten most of my childhood and other big events. I don't really know if it's connected to the seizures, tonic-clonics, or the fact that the seizures have resulted in several concussions throughout my life. Maybe it's the Keppra. Is this happening to anyone else? If so, how do you deal with it? I feel like I'll forget the most important people to me someday. So, what do I do? Advice is very much welcome. Please and thank you. Prayer hands emoji. Write things
Yeah.
down. That helps.
I'm sorry.
I said writing things down helps.
the childhood. Yeah, I've noticed I forgot big chunks of stuff. Um, but I talk to my sister a lot, and she says, like, you seriously don't remember this? When this happened? When like uh, or X or Y happened? And you go, no, I really don't remember. And yeah, um, yeah, she seems to have a much bigger memory. So I would advise talking to people around you who um, also have a good memory of your childhood, uh, just to get a refresher. Maybe it'll refresh your memory. Okay, Pookie, go.
What was the question again?
Memory problems.
Oh, there we go. The thing about my memory is there's certain people who can tell stories around me, and I can remember all of the story. And then there's certain people who tell me a bunch of stories, and I don't remember any of them. And I started to wonder, are those people actually lying? Because some I don't remember, and some seem like stuff that aren't me. But then again, I have epilepsy, and I wasn't there to remember all these things. But yeah, I question myself and other people as to what I'm being told. Is it true and stuff like that? Um, Never get to the bottom of most things, but I try to question people, get my own evidence put together.
I don't remember big chunks of my children's childhoods.
Oh,
My
shit.
children will tell me things and I'll be like, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's like my long term is pretty good, but there's events that certain people have in their head that didn't stick to my memory. And sometimes I just wonder if they're lying. And I think a lot of people lie to me, but that's just my personal thoughts about people.
But the thing is, I feel like the information is still there because I get told about something and I can
Oh yeah, I remember now.
like yeah, yeah, okay. And I just can't quite grasp it. And yeah. Mhm.
On my end, there's a lot of situations that stuff happens, and I just tell people, I'll take your word for it. So yeah, I gotta stop doing that. But
I'm
that
like
helps
you
end the
though,
conversation.
I'm like you though, where I don't believe everybody on everything they say, depending on who it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I get all the evidence myself, get my evidence in my head put together, and yeah, whatever they say, I'm just listening, but doesn't mean I believe you. Mark had the questions, I thought.
Did and then he disappeared.
Back to the post about memory being degraded and affected. A comment here says, "Oh God, if that isn't relatable, kind of feels like my memory is reduced to a PowerPoint presentation. I harbor strong doubts that it's recoverable." Another comment here says, "Since I was around 18, my memory slowly started deteriorating. I've been on all sorts of meds, including Keppra, and to be fair, it's still the same since stopping Keppra, but we're all different and could be the meds, or could it? Mine seemed to be short-term memory. That's messed up. I can remember stuff from years ago, but newer memories are just a total mess or can't remember at all. My partner of 7 years is always saying, 'Remember when we did this?' or 'Remember when this happened?' And I feel bad when I can't remember the important or special memories. I'm 28 and I worry that it's going to get worse over time. When I mentioned it to my epilepsy nurse in the past, it just sort of gets pushed off to one side. You guys ever try talking to someone about your memory?
I forgot to.
Mm, that's a good one.
I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to the nurse about my memory when I've noticed it being affected as part of a medication side effect, when there's been a change in that regard. And then I've noticed, like, immediately afterwards, the best example, 200 milligrams of Vimpat 2 times a day has me extremely depressed. And it pushes me over the edge back into officially like scary clinical depression type mental health problems, intrusive thoughts and stuff. you know wouldn't you is there any reason not to put your hand into the garbage disposal and turn it on? Like, why wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did things like
Why
this.
would you? Oh, that's the thing, and that didn't necessarily occur to me until I was really considering it. So um, that's why I was stepped off, and so I've lowered my dose, and even just something as small as going from 200 twice a day to 150 in the morning and 200 in the evening was enough to ease that up. Um, but I have felt like my memory had been declining before I had started any medications also, but I wasn't able to put my finger on it. I wasn't able to find a reason why. And so I just kind of wrote it off as normal aging, right? Everybody gets older and memory declines with age. That's what everybody says. But I mean, in your late 20s, early 30s, you're in the prime of your life. You shouldn't be having any sort of memory decline at that time. Your frontal lobe is just finished developing. You should be good to go. So I don't know. There was some difficulty accepting some things, but there was no reason to suspect anything either. I guess except for the panic attacks, but those weren't really panic attacks, right? We've we've covered that ground, so I don't know.
Um,
Memory is kind of inexorably intertwined with the whole epilepsy life, I think. Pookie, did you?
um, I was gonna say, I know if AJ was here, she could tell us what part of the brain um, memory goes to and comes from. She's pretty good with that stuff. Um, but
Isn't it the hippocampus?
you're asking me a question that I need an answer to.
I think. Well, I don't know. I thought maybe tossing it out there might trigger a memory. You may have heard it and thought and be like, oh yeah, boom, spark, right?
It
Is
doesn't
that
ring a bell. I'm trying. It's not coming to me.
no? Okay.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. But another thing is,
Yes, hippocampus located in the brain's temporal lobe is essential for converting short-term memories into long-term declarative or factual and episodic or event-based memories. A critical component to the limbic system, it also regulates spatial navigation, context-specific memory, and in some cases, emotional responses. So, memory consolidation. I was right. I,
um,
Are
I
there any
there's
other parts of
something.
the brain involved in memory?
probably, yes. It sounds like they are very specific about parts of memory, uh, and
I
not
got
necessarily
something.
all memory, right?
I was gonna get a procedure done. Well, no, I wasn't gonna get it done, but I went and got tested, and then I found out what it was for. They wanted to do a brain surgery because she said my memory is too bad for someone my age. That's what a neurologist that was referred to that wasn't my neurologist at one point in time. Uh, but yeah, she showed me like the pictures of my brain that they took, I guess, and she showed me like this little dark spot right here. I could put a needle in there and take that little air out there. Stuff I didn't understand, and I still agreed. I mean, disagreed. So I didn't get it done. But yeah, my memory is just gonna be this bad. I'm not gonna get that surgery because I feel like it's just not gonna help. I don't know where she was taking that from. It's going to help my memory. She just showed me little pieces of the brain. I knew nowhere where they were. I just looked at it like, oh yeah, that looks like a little squiggly line, something you're looking at that I don't understand.
So I got here the list is Kevin had suggested. Yeah, he was dead on. So hippocampus I just described outline, but it says the amygdala adds emotional significance to memories, influencing their strength and recall, especially fear related. memories. The cerebellum is essential for processing and storing procedural memories. The prefrontal cortex is involved in working memory. And so I guess the short-term holding that the hippocampus is responsible for converting into long-term memory. And then the prefrontal cortex also organizes information and retrieves factual knowledge, semantic knowledge. And the basal ganglia uh, takes care of habit formation, procedural learning, and long-term memory storage. And then neocortex is the outer layer where long-term memories are ultimately stored and distributed across different regions. So that's a lot. I guess I was only a little right when I said hippocampus. But yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I have something right here. If you're done, Mark.
I'm just reading over here if you want to get. Wait,
It's
was
a lot
I
of information.
on
That's
spot?
a very complex. Yeah, that's I don't know.
Yeah. So I got something here. It says, Dad has epilepsy and I'm anxious all the time. I came here to just maybe hear some positive stories to help with my anxiety because I feel so overwhelmed at the moment. My dad was diagnosed with epilepsy 18 months ago. He's been on lamotrigine and tends to have focals every 6 weeks and tonics every 5 months. He just recently had a tonic and two focals 30-ish hours later, and I'm panicking, thinking what's going on. He did, however, after his last medication increase, say he feels great. But then he went over his focal 6 week time and hit 10 weeks until he had this recent tonic clonic. I just want some sort of support or even just some words of reassurance just to help me as I'm on the edge. The 10-week break of his pattern is the only positive part I'm holding on to. What do I do?
Be there. It's about all you can do.
The only response to this says, Hey, I totally get the anxiety around pattern changes. It's scary when something that felt predictable suddenly shifts, but honestly, that 10-week stretch sounds like a really good sign that the med adjust might be working better than before. Epilepsy can be so unpredictable, even when things are improving overall. And stress, sleep, random stuff can still trigger breakthrough seizures. The fact that your dad feels great is huge too. That's not something to overlook. Got something here. It says, "Can Keppra stunt growth?" I haven't almost. Oh well, we're far from stunting our growth. Um,
Yeah, I
but
was
I'll
in my
leave it.
40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it way past where my growth was already stopped.
Yeah. I'm the same height as my dad, so I don't think my growth was stunted, but I did take it. Um, in those late days of teens.
I heard a lot of medications can do that though.
I'll read it. It says, we'll just give some advice. It says, can Keppra stunt growth? I have an almost 14-year-old son who got diagnosed at 10 years old with focal epilepsy. He has only had a seizure when sick, and they've been all in the evening or the nighttime. Keppra controls quite well, and he hasn't had one in over a year and a half. We started him on Keppra right after the diagnosis. Oddly enough, after charting his weight and height, we saw a decline in growth right around the time he began the meds. He was only 5'1" and barely 100 pounds at 14 years old. He used to be a little above 50 percentile. Both my husband and I are the average on the shorter side and thin naturally, but we are average. Oh, but we are concerned that it appears he hasn't even started puberty yet. Both my husband and I began at his age. Does anyone have experience with Keppra stunting their growth or their child's growth? I don't remember what year I started puberty, and Kepler did not stunt my growth because I'm still the same height as my dad, which I think was what was in the cards for me.
I only took it for like uh maybe not very long, but I think when I was 14 was around when I started growing. People do bloom late. I mean, that's very natural. Yeah, that's when I started growing, really. So, I mean, no, I'm just trying to ease your concerns. I would ask the doctor about these medicines. The
Doctors and
only
pharmacists.
mhm. And the only yeah, the only medicine right now that I know that is really hurting your growth is Depakote. A little
What
bit,
size?
by a little bit, because um, it damages your bone density and muscle development. So I may be like half an inch shorter, half inch shorter. Um, Osteoporosis is going to set in. But Capra,
You got
we're going back to Capra. Okay.
you got height on either side of your family?
What do you mean height?
I mean, well, you mean you said you're 6 feet, and then you said you might have been an inch taller um, without the
Yeah,
medication.
I mean, I'm my dad's height, so yeah.
You and Angel are the
Uh,
same height if you're both 6 feet. Andrea didn't stunt your growth?
I was in my 40s.
I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, the first comment here says I started Kepler when I was 16, and I believe I stopped growing. It could be my muscles damaged because of my seizures. It isn't known. It isn't a known side effect, but they don't know fully. Maybe I stopped growing at 16, even without Kepler. Just speculation. I think that's what it was for me. I stopped growing at 16 because I think people were like, "Oh, last time I seen you, you were this short," and that's when I finally like paid attention to my health, and I just never grew anymore since I've been 16. Another comment here says I started taking Keppra when I was in the 8th grade. It definitely didn't stunt my height growth as I'm 6'1" now, but it has been a little harder to put on weight. It does mess with my appetite, so that may be why he's not putting on weight. I got something here, guys. It says, should I get a new neurologist? When I was a kid, I had a brain tumor where one of the side effects were focal type seizures. Flashing lights and bright lights would cause me to be dizzy, sick, spaced out, shaky, and feel like my heart sinks to my stomach like a swing set. But I had surgery and I basically resolved 80%. I'm 21 now, but I think they haven't completely gone away. Um, I'm 21 now, but I think they haven't completely gone away. I don't know why there's a question mark there. Or I'm not sure the difference between those seizures and a migraine and what a migraine are. I feel exactly like I did back when I had seen the flashing lights, except it's not as severe or frequent. It interferes with school and driving, and all the bright lights make me nauseous and extremely tired. Is it something I should get a neurologist again and see about for, or is this dramatic and could be migraines? Um, I think this person should go get a neurologist because if the side effects were focal seizures, then that's something to check up on every now and then at least, even if
Yeah.
you don't have epilepsy. Mark, you got something? Oh,
I'm sorry. I've been a little distracted, you know.
understandable. Should this person get a neurologist, Andrea and Kevin? What do you think?
Wouldn't be a bad idea to go get it checked out at least.
I mean, yeah, basically, I would say anytime you have the question come up in your mind, should I get a neurologist? Just get a neurologist. If it's even a question, then you need to get it checked.
Don't ask Reddit, go ask your doctor.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's all,
if you're
it's all,
concerned
you
enough
already
to
answered your own question.
yeah, if you're concerned enough to be asking the question, then you really know the answer already. You just, you know, I mean, maybe just need a little external push, but just go get it checked out. If it's enough of a concern to have raised a question, you need somebody to find some answer for you, or at least follow up on that question for you.
All right. The first response here says the short answer is yes. The long answer is go to a neurologist like today, like yesterday. And that is the only response here.
Okay, yeah.
I agree with Mark. If you have to ask on Reddit, then I think you should go see one or ask your primary, see what they think about going to see a neurologist.
Yeah. It sounds something like, hey, I need to see somebody quick, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got another one. It says 49-year-old male, monthly focal aware. Anyone find ways to mitigate? For about 2 years now, I've been getting monthly cycles of focal aware. It comes on slowly. Day one, 2 to 3 a day. Day two is 6 times, but can't be more than 10 plus times with peak effects. Day three is similar to day one. Through the week, it occurs, and I'm depleted, feeling it's manageable, provided it doesn't get worse. Seems stable to declining intensity. I am meeting with a neurologist in a few months after 1 year wait list, wondering if any others have similar experience. Um, Post on the matter or achieved? And if so, anything that has seemingly helped with your symptoms. Yes, I know it can be anything from your brain tumor to dietary and specific to the individual. Thanks in advance. Any ways to mitigate was the question.
I wouldn't know how to mitigate through somebody else's daily
That's what I was
focus.
thinking. Mitigating, I might need a little more information.
Like I'm just starting to deal with my own vocals, and it's not that easy.
One comment here says, feel lucky you have health care. I'm homeless and jobless due to TC monthly seizures, making it impossible to function, and I'm slowly losing my mind. Another comment here says, find your triggers and do your best to avoid them. For me, it's lack of sleep and blinking lights. Do any of you guys have problem with lights?
Not in a like seizure inducing photosensitivity type of thing, like fluorescent overhead lights or computer monitors or video games with certain patterns or certain movies or whatever. But I do have issues with light in kind of a broader sense. I don't like very bright lights in general. I
Yeah.
prefer
Like
to kind
high beams on a car.
I'm sorry.
I don't like the bright lights, like high beams on a car.
Yeah. Or
Halogen lights.
how I just, especially like, I mean, outdoors, sunlight and stuff, it's difficult for me to handle without sunglasses. Um, and even indoors, I don't like being, um, I don't know. I mean, the room that I spend most of my time in is pretty dark by most people's standards. The camera settings here right now make it look brighter than it actually is. Trying to capture the lava lamps a little better, get the tuning on its tweaking on its saturation and brightness and whatnot. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think it might be an autism spectrum thing. That's one of the defining traits in the autism spectrum um, criteria. That's the word. Um, is certain sensitivities to various sensory stimuli. So that's yeah, I don't know. You see some people with autism walk around with headphones on that don't like the loud sounds or whatever. I'm that guy who walks around with sunglasses on, and even tends to leave them on once I've walked into the supermarket. And that douchebag who thinks he's so cool, he walks around with sunglasses inside in the grocery store. And really, it's just I didn't even realize they were still on there. Just make it so much more comfortable to see
I
and
did
stuff.
that the other day at the Y.
Yeah, oh yeah, rock star, poker player, person. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got
Um,
like halfway to the class. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to take these off and put my glasses on, or I'm not it's gonna be really dark in there once they shut the lights out.
yeah. I've even left my my sunglasses on while riding in the car. The oncoming traffic lights and stuff with the polarized lens, I can still see better um, with the sunglasses on than off. So, um, yeah, I don't know.
I
It's
can
it's
get
interesting.
very light sensitive on occasion, especially in the mornings, I've noticed.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with those words though. Like light sensitive is not photosensitive, right?
Right.
Yes,
It's
sensitive
just
to
sensitive to
light.
brightness. I
Yeah,
live in a cave. It's
yeah.
like it's so dark and all the blinds are closed all the time and
It looks cozy. It looks, yeah, I like dark spaces. Yes, spooky.
I was just gonna say, is it an epilepsy thing or is it just me that likes to be in the dark? I like dark. I don't mind it. At nighttime, I love pitch black. And just knowing that no one's in the house with me or just my mom, just it's so comfortable just being pitch black. My mom, she keeps a light on in the bathroom because she can't do the darkness. Um, yeah.
I can't do
Oh,
total darkness. I need to be able to see, like, at least if I'm if I need to be able to avoid stepping on a cat at bare minimum. So
okay.
especially when I have a
and to
black
be
cat.
able, and to be able to aim.
Gotcha. Yeah, because yeah, we don't have cats, so I know what you mean. Um,
I
don't have to
can't
step on
stand
any animals.
when it's
Yeah.
dark out though and walk into a room and it's flip the light on, it kills me.
I
Yeah.
don't turn lights on in the middle of the night. I go to the bathroom in the dark. Um,
I usually do. There's a nightlight.
Yeah, I leave the bathroom light off, but I make sure that there's enough light, like ambient light that, you know, I can TCOB. Hold on. How about Kylie, are you there? Are you there still?
Yes, I'm here. What?
Yes. Hey, um, this is something that I think I would like to hear your thoughts on. What we were just discussing, sensory sensitivities.
Ugh.
Um,
Well, I used to have a flashlight that had three settings on it, and would have a dull one, a bright one, and then a strobe light. So I have to like click it fast so I don't see the strobe light, the last setting of the flashlight.
yeah, yeah. We were all discussing that it seems there's a common thread that we've each described a kind of preference to have a nice dimly lit kind of dark room. Do you like to stay in dark rooms, dark spaces,
Um,
to avoid bright lights, overhead lights and stuff?
well, I don't like lights on that shine on my iPad screen. That's why I don't like lights on top of me.
Yeah,
And I don't like sun dots like when there's sunshine and blinds are open and there's sun dots from like shades, you know what I mean?
yeah. Oh, so it's mostly just interfering with the screen. It's not
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of,
yeah.
yeah. So if you like, let's say if you're not on the iPad or something, it doesn't bother you if the room is really brightly
No,
lit.
it's usually because I'm on my pad most of the time.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. Do you have any sort of um sensory sensitivities other
Well,
than?
I had asked Andrea what that animal was, and she never responded to me.
I was just asking, since um a lot of people with autism have have difficulty with a lot of different sensory situations, sounds, loud
Yeah, I
noises.
don't like a lot of sounds. I
Yeah.
get scared of thunder, and I don't like. We have a well water, so we have a tank, so it bothers me when I hear that. Things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. But the light doesn't bother you as much as it seems to.
More so the sounds.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's interesting. A little different. Um. Yeah. I forgot what the I don't know. I forgot
I
what
have a
the.
question. Uh,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
what would be the opposite of all that? Like, it seems I have a very high tolerance for stuff like sound and um I like the light. I like sunlight, but it bothers me because I haven't really left the house much. So it does the sunlight does bother me,
Mm.
but I'm just not used to it. But um okay, so let me give you an example. Um there was a car accident right in front of me, and I didn't really do anything. I didn't jump, I didn't bother me. I don't know. Just nothing really seems to bother or shock me. I have a very high tolerance for stuff.
You don't get startled easily.
Yeah. High startle tolerance. I don't know. Is that a thing? Of startle tolerance, startle threshold?
Would that be just something from the medicine or
Um,
Do you have that when you're not on the medicine, or have you? I don't know. Is
I don't
that
know.
something tested?
I've always liked the outdoors.
Yeah.
I startle easy. And when I say easy, I mean like if I stop walking too fast and my hair does this, when I stop walking, I usually go like that because I think it's someone in my peripheral, not my hair. I do it on the left and the right sometimes, and like so. Yeah, I try to tie it back when I'm just doing nothing. Or yeah, I do startle easy and I'm very clumsy, so that doesn't make for good situations.
Yeah.
My startle reflex seems to vary kind of unpredictably. Sometimes I just, something happens in the corner of my eye and I just go vertical 6 inches immediately. Um, Sometimes I, can just, I don't know, some loud crash in the other room, something, and it just, I just can slowly turn and go and get up and check it out without being like the slightest bit an adrenaline release or anything. No sort of strong neurochemical response, sort of, or reflex response. I don't know what the term is. I know that there's a biological term for that, like the
It freaks me out if someone knocks on my door without telling me they're coming first.
yeah,
My,
like what are you doing,
my
weirdo?
stepdad hates that. Sometimes
Yeah,
he won't answer.
The guy came to bring me my meds today, and I like looked out the window and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Cracked the door, and he's like, "I have a med delivery for Andrea." And I was like, "Oh, okay," and opened the door.
yeah,
Mm,
They
yeah,
scared the crap out of me.
yeah. Try to like creep up and peek through the window as if they can't see me through the, it's like,
I
oh,
I saw him through the window and I looked through the peephole, and I still couldn't figure out what he was doing there.
yeah.
well,
We need
my
to just
aunt,
give up and install cameras all out on the porch so I can see him without having to approach. That would
I
be
have
I
the
that
do that.
too.
my family does not like the idea of setting up things. It just uh not a fight worth fighting.
What if I did it?
I mean, you can do it to your house, I guess. I don't know.
I meant to yours. What if I
uh,
actually set it up for you?
you want to put cameras up in where I live? I don't know how I feel about it.
I thought I meant for you. You said your family doesn't like setting up things, and I said, what if I set it up for you?
Oh no, they
Um,
don't. They don't like the changing times and
oh,
technology.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. But yeah, the idea of you coming over to set up cameras and then leave is,
Yeah,
and not giving it over, is what you want to, or you
gotcha.
want to watch our front door from California.
No.
Um,
Yeah, I don't want to see what your porch looks like.
uh,
I barely look at my camera, but
we
yeah,
can see rocket launches from the porch, so you could set up that camera. We got the Artemis launch was just postponed. Their wet dress rehearsal on Sunday had a hydrogen leak that they were um, unable to fix. The launch was supposed to take place on February 8th. So they postponed it until March at the earliest. So that was sad. But my dad has agreed to drive me out to the viewing location of my choice at Cape Canaveral to see the Artemis launch. So
Yay.
Nice.
Yeah. He knows somebody. I might ask him. He knows somebody down the block who's actually a NASA, like a structural engineer at NASA, former NASA guy. He, he got them viewing tickets at the inside, the viewing, like special, um, for the workers, for the launch of the Boeing Starliner, the first Starliner. So, you know, from the Boeing employee, souvenir mugs for they were up in that with the employees and guests only special viewing area there. And they were pretty excited about that. It was a morning launch. So it went up, the rocket was going up right as the sun was rising behind it. And it was absolutely beautiful launch that I did not get to be present for. I was out of state at the time, but the Artemis rocket is much bigger than the Atlas that the Boeing Starliner went up on. So that'll be that'll be really cool. Really, really cool. If ever a rocket there was to witness, the Artemis launch is the rocket to go for, I think. Falcon Heavy would be cool, but the Artemis is bigger. And it's a moonshot too, isn't it? They're sending astronauts around the moon thing for the first time since the Apollo launch. I think, maybe. I don't know. Pookie, you had your hand up, and I was just steamrolling the whole conversation here.
Oh yeah, my hand was down by now. Yeah, that thought is gone. Are those lines in the sky? Like sometimes there's like these long white lines. Are those rockets?
Like across the sky horizontally, or because there is
Um,
Vandenberg Space Force Base out there. They do launch rockets that are visible from a decent chunk of like the California area, the West Coast.
yeah, Central California. It's a lot of desert area, and there's a lot of prisons and what they call it, airports, like private airports. A lot of farming area. But I see a lot of those lines in the sky every now and then, and I was wondering if that's a rocket. Um,
I would assume those are just your kind of basic um, contrail condensation from a jet flying overhead
might have been.
when they're up way up high in the atmosphere and they're going along the air that they bring in and burn with the fuel, um, the combustion byproducts of that, some of that is water, and it's extremely hot. And so when it gets sent out the back um, of the the turbofan engine, it's a bunch of hot air with some humidity to it. It gets released into a surrounding um, extremely um, low temperature, low pressure environment. So that pressure temperature difference works to take um, the moisture, the water byproduct from the um, combustion to condense and basically form long thin clouds along the pathway, the trail of the jet engines. So it's condensation just up there, you know.
From an airplane.
Yeah, pretty neat.
They're all over the place around here all the time.
Yeah, they fly overhead here all the time. So much that I don't even actually they're flying in and out of here so much that I think that they're getting low enough that they don't have the condensation byproduct result because of the altitude level. You know, they're so close to ground level when they're flying in here. But when they're flying past up, you know, way, way overhead, bypassing, you know, yeah. So, yeah, I saw Kylie said in chat, chemtrails. I don't know. I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if you mean that seriously or not. Yeah, the idea of chemtrails like that, at that scale is not something that happens. So I mean, at the very least, don't worry about it. If chemtrails are something that you take really seriously, then um, you can relax about that because they don't. The result of it or the visible trails themselves are the result of just simply the process of the airplanes flying overhead. It's not any sort of chemicals being injected. So, yeah, don't worry about chemtrails.
Everybody's body is different, and we're not doctors.
Please take medication as prescribed.
Please take your medication as prescribed.
I'm about to go to bed.